All right, welcome back to another episode of the YoungPro podcast. Sadly, my co-host still has COVID, but I am thankful that my buddy David Soul is joining me today. We are here with Chris Stocks. He is 19 years old, and his birthday is today. He is an Iowa State student majoring in entrepreneurship and computer science. He actually has 155,000 YouTube subscribers and 750,000 TikTok followers. Dude, thanks so much for joining us today. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Happy birthday, by the way, dude.
Thank you.
See, I feel so good that you're willing to sit down and do this with us on your birthday.
I love this stuff. So cool. I'm happy to be here.
And you said this is your first podcast, right?
Yes. I've been on like a talk show for someone's project for school, but never a podcast.
Never a podcast. So again, dude, thank you so much. So before we kind of dive into your story a little bit, what got you interested in being like a content creator? I don't know if that's what you want to call yourself, but like, how did you get in that avenue?
I started because I was looking for a way to make money. Someone was like, hey, if you advertise my stock trading Discord, you can get like an affiliate payout. And he's like, oh, we have people making $1,500 a month doing that. I'm like, that's crazy. I want to do that. So I started making videos for him, and eventually it just picked up, and I am where I am today.
Did you hit that 1,500 with him, or was it a little bit?
No, not even close with him.
Not even close with him.
No, the guy's. I've talked to him recently, but he's one of the biggest NFT ruggers. He like reduced my payout. He said it was originally 30%, then he changed it to 15%. I only hit like over 6 months. I probably only made like $2K from him maybe, but I brought his Discord server probably tens of thousands of members.
Dude, that's upsetting. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's not a big deal. I didn't even know at the time. So.
Yeah.
But it got me into all of this, and I got where I am today because of that. So I'm happy it all worked out.
That worked out. Yeah. What was your first like big check, or almost like, oh my gosh, this is like a decent amount of money for almost a little amount of work or something like that?
One of my first ever brand deals, they offered me $2,000 for 2 videos, which was insane. And then they eventually retracted it because I wasn't 18 at the time. And that was really annoying. But that was the first time I'd actually like started seeing the money come from it, like a really big amount. And that was crazy.
So when they found out you weren't 18, they didn't take the money back. They just didn't continue the...
Yeah, because I was like, hey, can I still sign the contract? And they were like, let me go talk to them. And they didn't want it because I don't know. I don't really reveal my age to people, especially not at that time, because I was doing a lot of like stock stuff. So then you can't even trade when you're younger anyway. So
you have to have your parents like sign for the brokerage or something like that, right?
Yeah, you can like trade in their name, which is illegal. I totally didn't do that. And then, or you can have like a custodial account, and then when you turn 18, that money becomes yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then, all right, let's dial back. You're from Chicago?
Suburbs, but yeah.
Suburbs of Chicago. How did you get to Iowa State?
Just doing the normal college process, looking everywhere, and I just really liked the school and everything, and that's what I picked.
Okay, and so you're halfway through approximately your first semester.
First year, yeah.
And let's get a fun college story.
Yeah, it's cool. Everyone's really supportive about the content, which is awesome. My roommate, he discovered my page when we were just talking over the summer.
Yeah. Before you guys became roommates?
Yeah. I didn't even tell him about
I've known him for like a few weeks, but he didn't tell me he had it. It just popped up on my For You page.
Oh, that's so cool.
He's been like talking to Snap, and I sent it to him like, is that you? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, and then everyone on like the floor of my dorm is super supportive of the videos. Everyone's really cool. I've only ever had 2 people who are like haters, and they're both drunk. So.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. That's actually how me and David met. Is he slid in my DMs from TikTok. He saw one of the real estate videos I posted and stayed persistent. I'm like super proud of this guy for being 20 and saved up a good chunk of money from a sales job, and then met me in Vegas at a conference, came out and lived with me in Tyler, and then flew out to Asia with me, and then now has been kind of like my intern assistant, but he's one of my good buddies for the past like month and a half. So it's been, if you guys hear voices in the back, we got the whole squad with us today. Yeah. we got his cameraman, we got the producer here, so we're super blessed to have all these people that support us. So yeah, I guess let's talk about then how you got into trading stocks at 17, 16 or whatever age that you started studying or not trading.
I always wanted to just make money, and then when I was 16 for my birthday, I wanted a brokerage account. So
that's wild.
Yeah. So my parents got me a brokerage account with some money in there, and then I traded. In my first year, I doubled my money, because I got really lucky. It was 2 months before the COVID crash, so like I mean I didn't know what I was doing. My first stock was I forgot what it's called, but I lost a bunch of money, and then I got really lucky buying Apple at like the perfect bottom of the COVID dip.
Was that a split after it did a split?
It was before the split.
It was okay.
Yeah, and then I had perfectly timed a lot of things just because I was lucky, not because I was good or knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then I got into trading options, and I was okay. I lost a bunch of money, got better, but yeah. So that's how I started. I was 16, and I just wanted to make money.
That's insane.
Yeah, that is.
That's insane.
Have you ever traded?
Yeah, I've traded quite a bit, but nothing like options or.
Yeah, I've chilled out now. I just
Options
hold
is a
long-term.
whole different
Yeah.
monster than
It
just
was
like buy and hold.
Yeah.
It was stressful.
Yeah.
I've never done options, but I've swing traded a little bit when there was that like those marijuana stocks like all blew up or was doing. I made some decent swing trades with like CGC.
ACB. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, ACB. What are some other tickers that you've had luck with?
I mean, now I just literally hold VOO, which is the S&P 500, but
VOO.
yeah,
Yeah.
because that's the Vanguard S&P 500. But I mean, I've traded Neo, Apple, options on Tesla. I mean, options on all these. Chewy. I had Peloton before they like shit the bed. I had what else? There's a bunch.
Neo is like a similar competitor to Tesla, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I held a couple of those as well. What's some advice for some younger people that'll be watching on how to avoid some losses when you first get in the game?
Like in trading or long-term investing?
Probably long term, yeah.
I think what really like I've never had like a crazy amount of money in the market that would like change my life, but what really having any amount of money helps me learn like how market cycles work with the overall economy. Like how, it kind of crashed with COVID and then it recovered, and how, now we're in that recession period, and just how the market works, looking at like long term, and I don't know, kind of figuring all that out. Just like, I don't know, I feel like it's a bad answer, but I just, having money in there helped me. Like I started reading the news and I started actually researching and doing a lot of that stuff, and that just helps me learn about like
You're having skin in the game. You're like invested to like know more and be more educated. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So do you think the majority of your portfolio is held in like index funds now?
Oh, literally everything I own is in S&P 500 right now. I could probably choose individual stocks, but that I don't know if I'd be able to outpace the stock market. Most people can't, so there's no reason to spend all that time. I want to buy Chipotle and Costco. I probably should do that. I really like those companies.
Yeah. Why do you like those so much?
People say you should invest in what you like yourself as a consumer. And anytime I go to Chipotle, they're always packed with people. They're just filled. And then Costco, just they make so much money. And when I go there, it's always filled with people too.
Yeah.
So those companies I have to look at their financials.
So you got that Costco membership yourself, or your parents still hooking you up with that?
No, my parents. I just got the Sam's Club one. I don't have it myself. Oh yeah, and he works at Chipotle.
Nice discount there.
Yeah.
So I guess the next thing would be, I want to hear a little bit. You told me a little bit about your like first viral video. Mm-hmm. Did you think that was gonna go well? I guess before we get into that, what was the video?
The concept of the video was what zero pussy does to an MF.
What?
What zero pussy does to somebody.
Oh my!
And then I showed. I googled like a really good Robinhood portfolio that was up like a couple $1,000%, and then I like put it behind me, and I was like, "That's like jokingly, that's mine."
Yeah.
That was the first one that did well. that got me my first probably couple thousand followers.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was funny.
And so, did you think because I know sometimes like you can put a ton of effort into like making a video and it doesn't get the the reach that you want. Did you think that one was gonna do what it did?
No, not at all. My next, I had a couple more viral videos, and then my next big one, I just showed it to him yesterday. It was probably spent like 3 minutes making it.
Yeah.
And then I hopped on Xbox after, and it went viral, and it brought me from like 20K to 80K followers.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Crazy converting video.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had no idea. I just was just doing my thing, and I remember getting on Xbox after posting it, and then all of a sudden I wake up the next day and have like 5K more followers.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
What was your first one?
I mean, I don't even know. Like, if we go all the way back, probably the one at the real estate convention.
Oh, that's right.
That one,
yeah, in Vegas.
It was like most 19-year-olds would be partying on their birthday, but I'm at a real estate convention, and it was just like,
Oh, that's your. So when on his 19th birthday, he was in Vegas with me at a conference as well, and that was the video that you did. Yeah.
yeah,
But you had like 18 or 17,000 followers at that point, right?
yeah. But I wasn't getting viral videos. That was mainly from live.
Oh my gosh. My first one was a flip that I did that I made. Well, it wasn't even a flip; it was a wholesale. I was initially gonna flip it, but I bought it, and like one of the neighbors. This is like one of the on do you know where Cameron School Road is in Ames? It's on like the north side or whatever.
No.
One of the only $1 million neighborhoods in Ames. Anyways, bought a house, and one of the neighbors rode over on his lawnmower with his son and offered me on spot $50K more than I had bought the house for. Yeah. It initially worked out really well for him. I could have made more money off of it, but that was my first. I think I got like $500,000, and the slogan was like "Millionaire next door buys my house" or whatever. And at that time, I was making a significant amount of content. Like I had my GoPro running, I had my phone going. And so I got him like pulling up on his lawnmower, like with the check and everything. It was crazy, bro. Yeah. It's quite the adrenaline rush.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you have a video that's really popping, you're getting every time you refresh, there's more followers.
There's four.
Yeah,
it's like,
crazy.
what is happening?
Yeah, it's crazy.
The adrenaline rush is pretty addicting.
Do you think that's bad for your dopamine though? When you go back to like, say say your video starts slowing down and you get this one viral video, do you think that discourages you a little?
Not really. I mean, it's tough for me to say because I get like I average probably 600,000 views, maybe more.
Yeah.
So when a video doesn't do that number, I'm like annoyed, or not annoyed,
Yeah.
but I'm like, okay,
It's discouraging, yeah.
or not discouraging. It's like I need to improve my content now.
Yeah.
Because my views were slower this week, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to LA tomorrow. We're gonna go step it up and
Yeah.
make some really good videos.
And I feel like a lot of people quit when their videos are like, 20 views. Like for those beginner TikTokers who are trying to get
it's tough
skin
at
in the
start.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what advice do you have to like someone who wants to start posting social media, but they just don't know what content to make, don't know what to do, like just not creative?
I was telling someone this in the gym the other day. They were asking me. I just said literally just scroll on your For You page and then think about like, could I recreate this? Could I?
Yeah.
And then pick your own niche. So like if you have a hobby, like I swam in high school. If you want to make swimming related videos.
Yeah.
And then literally just scroll, find like something trending, and then do that. I mean, interviews are really big right now. All you need is literally 2 phones and like one to record, one to do voice memos, and you can make interviews. I mean, you just got to try something, right?
Yeah.
I never thought that I actually had this figured out until like last summer, and that was a year and a half of making videos until I actually kind of knew what I was doing, and really had like my formula. So you really just start with anything and just try something, and you'll figure it out eventually.
And
Like,
you're
just
only
keep making
19.
videos.
You're only 19.
Yeah.
And you're from Iowa. Like,
No,
well,
Chicago.
Chicago, my bad.
Yeah.
But like not a lot of people build a following that big from areas like that. Like there is quite a bit of people, but most of these people are in LA who are just they're feeding off each other's following, so they're getting so huge, but you've done that yourself, which is so amazing.
Thank you.
Did you have a partnership or a video with somebody else that helped kind of jump you? No.
Not for me, no.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I've helped like one of my friends. I got him like 500 off one of my videos, but I don't really
500,000 views or followers?
just 500 followers.
Oh, 500
Yeah,
followers.
just help him start his page because we ran a business together. But he I didn't have anyone helping me like that.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Well, I definitely had like mentors. Like my one friend Mark, he is 1.2 million right now. He helped me, like he taught me a bunch, but he never made a video with me that like got me followers.
Yeah. Okay, and then when you kind of started this, what did you think it would look like a year like now? Did you think you'd be where you're at? Did you think you'd be farther? Did you think you'd be not this far?
No, I had no idea I'd become like Chris Stocks and I'd be doing this as my almost job.
That's amazing.
And how frequently are you landing sponsorships now through this? I know you didn't want to give up too many tricks, but like how often are you bringing in a new brand deal or a sponsorship from this stuff?
I have some longer term partners right now, like Quick Trip gas stations. Love them. So like I have videos from them every week, and then I have a couple other companies that I've been doing videos with pretty much every month. So I'll probably do 9 branded videos in February, I think. It depends. I have to see.
Quick Trip, It's like $1 billion company, dude. How did you get in the door with them?
They're really cool. So they sponsored another interviewer named Wyatt Eden at he does videos at UW-Madison. He has really good content, and I study his videos sometimes to like see what I can do. And he did a brand deal with them, and I was like, well, there are quick stars in Iowa, which is the same thing. It's just they have to be quick star because of branding.
Mhm.
And I'm like, let me try to get a deal with them. So I started. You can go on like LinkedIn and find people's emails, and there's ways to like get their contact. And I was able to get an email from a LinkedIn page, and I emailed them, and I was like, hey, I saw you sponsored him. You know, I don't have as many followers, but I do interviews. I live in Iowa where there's a bunch of quick stars. Can I do some videos for you guys? And yeah.
So you just shoot the video in front of a quick star?
I've done different things. So like the first two I did, I just went and paid for somebody's gas as like the concept. And then I've interviewed a bunch of quick star workers. I have 3 of those ready right now. And then there's another one about the rewards card that I have coming out too.
That's amazing.
So it's
awesome.
just different quick trip related. Or I did one. They sent me like a bunch of like shirts and stuff. So I have this really cool like quick trip button up. So I interviewed people around campus about that. Like, how much have you spent on gas this month?
Yeah.
One question. So just quick trip related videos.
Dude,
That's
that is
amazing.
awesome. And go ahead. Did you have something?
That's just such a big partnership. That's so amazing.
'cause-
That's
'cause-
amazing.
Most companies I work with, I'll say a name like Credit Sesame. Great partner, love them. But no one really has heard of it. But when I say Quick Trip, people are like, oh my God,
Yeah.
like you actually work with like the gas
Yeah.
station.
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
incredible.
And you're helping other creators now land sponsorships. Did I hear that right? And you kind of take a little bit of a cut out when you help them get in the door?
Sometimes I take a cut, sometimes I haven't. It depends. But yeah, I'll help them get deals, or I'll just refer them. So like if I have a company email, I'll give them the email of the contact. Or there's a creator in New York, and I'm kind of his manager. I'll help him with deals as well. He is almost 6 million, and
You're
I
his
help him.
manager?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. I mean, he doesn't do that many brand deals, so like I just kind of help him with like content and then talking to the companies and everything because he's really creative, but like he hasn't done a lot of deals, so I kind of help him like with the negotiation. And then also he does photography, so I do all of his scheduling for like events and stuff like that.
Wow.
But yeah.
Jeez. And how... So as an entrepreneur major and a computer science major, when you kind of like told your parents you were going to dive deep into this TikTok stuff, like not knocking it, obviously I make TikToks as well, but
Yeah.
how did that go over with them?
Well, they've just kind of saw the whole progression. From my first pages, like I was like, oh my God, guys, I have 10,000 followers now, and they're like, cool, and then whatever, and they just kind of saw me gaining more and more traction, and then my dad helped me with a lot of like the financial stuff, like taxes and tracking and like reading the contracts and everything like that, and then you saw like actual money coming from it, and they know. So they said just get your degree, do school, focus on that, and then as long as you do well in school, do whatever you want with your videos.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're super supportive. It's
That's
really
amazing, dude. It's huge when your parents are supportive about a different
'cause
journey.
If they didn't like it, would have been terrible if they didn't like the content. Or
What do they do?
my mom is now retired. She runs a nonprofit full time, and then my dad does sales.
For
Software. He sells software.
software.
AI
Great.
software.
That's awesome. You've had some struggles with your mom, or just that it's so different from
Yeah.
because you dropped out of school.
Yeah. You gotta. It's like a mindset shift for them. They don't know what social media is, so it's like you can't blame them. You can't blame them for not knowing the power of something that we're still learning the power of. We don't even know the power of what social media is gonna do in 10 years when you have 500K on it. Like we don't know, and so it was just. Well, I didn't tell my mom I was going full-time social media though, like because that wasn't the goal. But yeah, I just didn't want to go to school. I just felt like I was wasting my time. So I just knew that if I could open that opportunity in my mom's head that I'm capable of whatever I put my mind to, then I'd just go right through with it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of no plan
Dude,
B.
it
or A
was
game.
so he was super persistent about hitting me up because a lot of the people that'll slide in my DMs, like it's just give me real estate advice, and it's just like, dude, if you haven't read like Rich Dad Poor Dad or some of these like basic foundational books, like anything I'm gonna tell you is just gonna go like right over your head. But he had read the books I told him to, and we ended up linking up. But what really stuck out about him was he started sending people when he would DM them instead of just normal DMs, videos of himself, and his engagement like response back was so much higher.
Really?
Rather than just like a simple DM. Is that your
Yeah.
trick gem I just dropped?
No, that's a gem for girls too, though. Like I swear, it works so well for girls. Like I swear, the response rate is like 10 times. Like
We met up with this guy in Thailand. Shout out to Ollie. But he had what, like 50,000?
yeah, he's like 50K on Insta.
And Instagram or something, and he has his own e-commerce business, and he's just this like shredded dude that's like 38, phenomenal shape. You'd never guess that he was 38 years old. And he had hit him up a couple times while we were there, and we were in Phuket, and he ended up like, yeah, guys, come through, we'll meet at the gym. Met at the gym, and then like the rest of like the 2 weeks that we were there, we like hung out, partied, worked out, talked business, and then he ended up going to Bali. We went to Cambodia and then met Ollie in the Philippines, and we went deep sea free diving, like playing with like monkeys and like feeding fish out of our hands, and rented our own private boat and like traveled and made a ton of content. It was crazy, just the engagement you can get out of videos, and I've started doing that myself too. How have you found the best way to approach brand deals to get them to respond?
When I'm doing outreach through DMs, I literally just say, "Can I speak to someone in marketing?" And it's so simple, and I feel like it's almost like too unprofessional, but it's worked. And then over emails, I have like usually a copy and paste script that kind of goes through everything, and I link like my pages, I link some of my viral videos, my good ads, stuff like that.
That's awesome.
If you don't mind me asking you a question, so you're pretty tech savvy, you would say.
I think so.
What do you think of ChatGPT?
It's cool if you can use it to like help you with stuff. I don't have any uses for it. I've wanted to do a video where I ask it like, give me some interview questions, and then like interview people with those questions. But I think it's really cool. It's crazy how specific it can get with things. Yeah. But I don't really use it myself.
It actually is the most used social media platform
Is it a social media platform?
Well, I don't know what they called it, but
used
like
website.
Yeah, like Instagram only got like 100,000 users in like 4 years, and they just hit 100 million users in 2 months. Like more than TikTok. They just broke the record.
Oh my gosh.
That's how fast and powerful social media is becoming, because it's spreading so rapidly.
Mm-hmm. Well, Microsoft's buying them, right? OpenAI.
I didn't know that.
I hope not.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought Microsoft was going to buy it.
There's a bidding war going on right now, and Microsoft is currently looking like they're going to be the acquirer.
Well,
I know Nvidia is also going really hard trying to get.
It's $1 billion, right? It's like $1 billion company already.
Jeez.
I think estimated at 1.2 billion. Yeah.
In 2 months.
Crazy.
I know
insane.
Elon dumped a lot into it. I've seen a few videos of him talking about it. He dumped quite a bit of money into ChatGPT as well.
Yeah, it's crazy how specific you can get.
I had it write me a seller I don't know how familiar you are with like real estate terms, but
Not at all.
you have like a normal purchase agreement, right? And then you can do creative financing where you can buy houses without a bank, direct from the seller. That's called like seller financing. And I had it write a seller financing contract for me. I didn't end up using it, but it was just crazy. We just put in just like simple purchase price, seller, buyer, address, blah, blah, blah. And it came up with like a 1.5-page contract. And I was like, I don't think this would, he said too, I don't think this would hold up or be super powerful in court. But just the fact that it like worded everything and outlined it was just like, oh my gosh.
And it can write code. We know
I've messed with that before.
That's pretty cool. That's wild.
And it'll tell you like, oh, if it doesn't work, try this instead too. It's so smart.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how does it look? Because I don't know code.
So I had to do a project last year where I like built like a sports betting game, just text based because it was for school, and I had it like recreate my game, and it did a pretty good job for just like 2 sentences about what to do. And I
That's wild.
Yeah, I pasted it in the VS Code, and it worked. And
how long do you think you spent on that code?
What like for my project?
Yeah, for you to
Probably
write
like
it.
5 hours, 6 hours. It didn't recreate the game as well as I did it though.
Yeah.
But
for
a
30
base
seconds,
level, for a base level, it'll get you started.
That's insane.
Or like even if you can't figure something out, or like you just need a specific algorithm and you can word it in your head, but you just can't figure it out, like I'm sure you could just tell it and it would help you.
Is this on Python that you made the code?
That was Python, yeah.
Did you learn that in high school?
I learned Java, HTML, people like, or I learned like Java, HTML, CSS, like all that, and then like React, and that kind of thing in high school. But I mostly just knew Java, and then Python's pretty similar. So you kind of learn the syntax, and then it just translates over.
And then I don't know much about computer science, so I'm sorry if this is like a dumb question, but that's a lot of coding as well, right?
What do you mean?
Computer science.
Yeah, it's like all coding.
It's all coding. And what would you want to do if the TikTok and entrepreneur stuff didn't work out? What did you think you'd be doing with computer science?
I mean, if TikTok doesn't work out, I'll probably work in marketing because like what I do is a lot of marketing for companies. But I would probably become a developer at some company, or I'd start I'd have a startup with something like that. I don't know.
So have you besides the game that you were talking about, have you wrote another code that you're impressed with?
I had an internship at a startup. It was a crypto company a few years ago, like 2 years ago, and I did some coding for them, which was cool. So like they had a Discord, which I know sounds like basic, but it actually like led to the huge success of their product. Like 50,000 member Discord. They had, I mean, Paris Hilton was buying like some of their products. It was huge, and I would run like events for them, and I would like code the bots that run the events. Or sometimes they did some like really big drops, and I would make like a prototype and then give it to the developers, and then they would like, based on what I had done to test, they would like use the prototype.
That's awesome.
That was really cool to actually use coding I learned in school to like for a job.
For a job, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get into crypto investing at all?
Yeah, I have like probably I had $6,000 worth of everything. Now it's probably like 2 or whatever.
Dude, it plummeted.
I'm holding long term.
Yeah, dude. I think my account got up to like 20K at one point. I think it's down to like 6 or something right now. It was a huge hit recently. It's starting to creep back up.
Yeah,
I mean,
I did see
Bitcoin
that.
got all the way down to like 17, and it's up to like 24,000 right now.
Yeah, I have like half Bitcoin and then half Ethereum, a quarter Bitcoin, a quarter Solana. I'm just waiting.
Solana. Yeah.
Solana's doing good right now. It's
Really?
coming back. It's like 24. It was at like $10 a couple
9
months
or
ago.
Because I know this kid from Michigan. He makes all of his money flipping Solana NFTs. So
Yeah.
I just had it because I was working with him.
Have you got into NFTs?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're there's only 2 projects I hold right now. One of them is the sports project. So for the Super Bowl, we're going to like they're having a party in Wrigley Field. You know where that is?
Yeah, it's
like
in
the,
Chicago.
The Cubs, Chicago
Yeah,
Cubs,
yeah.
their stadium. So they're doing a Super Bowl party there, and I'm getting in because I have their NFTs.
That's amazing.
And then I won tickets through them too. It's really cool. And then Lazy Lions, they're pretty big. I have like Lazy Cubs, which is this other one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tried flipping them. I tried kind of doing my own projects, but I never really found a lot of success.
Which ones were you flipping? Solana or ETH or Bitcoin? Both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got into ETH, but ETH was just so expensive with gas fees. So I was like, all right, let me get on Solana. And then I started making
gas fees.
Yeah, gas. So basically, like the transaction you pay, like it was at some point it was like $800 to even buy any NFT on Ethereum network, which was absurd. And so you had to pay $800 on top of how much the NFT was.
Oh my! I've never bought an NFT. I don't know much about it.
Yeah, it would be expensive to flip.
Yeah.
And then if you lost the transaction fee.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And the value of that.
But Solana then allowed more investors. Like you had a lot of investors from different countries because it was such a low entry level that anyone could flip up. You could flip up your NFTs. You just had to get on good projects. But then it just became this like, what do they call it when people paper hands? Everyone became paper hands where they just sell their NFT right away. Like they just buy it, so the drop happens.
Mint
Yeah,
it or
and just
whatever?
mint it, sell it right away for like $20, and then that just decreased the value of so many projects because people are just paper handsing it away right away.
Jeez. Like, what's the kind of biggest hurdle you've encountered with either investing or making content that you had to like be persistent to get through or overcome?
when I was doing TikTok, I've had multiple periods of like 3 months where I'm just losing followers. Like no videos are hitting. I mean, that's when I had no idea what I was doing. And of course, I mean, if you scroll back and look at my videos, it's pretty obvious why they weren't hitting. They're all terrible. But I've had like long periods of just like no growth at all. It's like, why am I even doing this anymore? But I'm happy I stuck through it.
Yeah. And how long have you been making content?
I started in October 9th, 2020. So like 2.5 years.
So like 2.5 years.
It's amazing.
Dang, to 750,000.
Yeah, but I have friends who started like less than a year ago, and they had passed me and stuff. So it kind of, some people like they're in the millions and they've been doing it like in half the time. But you got to compare yourself to your past self, not other people.
Which is
Not
fine,
other
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Good point, dude.
Yeah, that's great. And that's where people get caught up. They see all these people on TikTok so successful, and they're like, "But I only have this many followers. Why can't I do?" And they just like, then they're just worried about other people's grass, and they're watering other people's grass. You got to water your own grass.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of Mr. Beast videos where he talks about like how much he studied other people's content, and one of the things that he talked about was just like the engagement, or like how long is a shot before they change it to a different angle rather than just like these selfies all the time or whatever. And it was fascinating. I'd never heard someone like dissect content the way that he did, and I mean it's no surprise that he does have like the biggest following on YouTube, right? Or something like that, one of the two.
He's crazy. He's
the biggest like personal YouTuber because T Series has like 250 million, but that's like a brand, so it doesn't like really count.
What is T Series?
It's an Indian music production channel.
Yeah.
India has a billion.
No,
people.
India-
I don't know
that's
why
a
you're
good-
laughing.
India's
That is
population
crazy.
just surpassed China.
Yeah,
Oh, they
it
beat
is
them.
The biggest
Yeah.
country on the
Yeah,
planet.
right now India has
Jeez.
the highest population in the world,
That's crazy.
which is crazy. So that is so absurd. Like Mr. Beast has an account in every language. Did you know?
Yeah.
Well, not
Oh,
every
I
language.
saw that. Yeah, he talked about that
But,
on,
like,
I
a
think on
couple.
Joe Rogan. On
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, he brought that up.
Yeah, he does Spanish, Indian, Russian, a whole bunch of stuff.
And he's on pace to being like the highest, richest man.
Well, somebody said he got offered like I don't know a couple
He offered
hundred,
A billion.
a billion for his channel.
For all-
Yeah,
for
and he
everything.
turned it down.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine getting offered $1 billion and still saying no.
Well, he's got every channel, and then he's got Feastables, Mr. Beast Burger. I'm
Yeah,
sure
it
he's
was
got.
for his entire enterprise, not just
The channel?
YouTube channel.
Oh.
So Beast Burger, Feastables, everything he's involved in would go to somebody else.
Okay.
Do you guys actually know the marketing plan behind Beast Burger on why it's like any restaurant can become Mr. Beast Burger?
I heard that.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
I think Tyler told me about
That's-
that actually.
that's
Those
insane.
kitchens.
Yeah, because they give them the ingredients and they can make it at any restaurant. So it's DoorDash or
I do DoorDash sometimes. Like
Yeah.
you pull up there and it's at like just random.
Yeah.
Like one was at like a Perkins. Like
yeah, that's
random
crazy.
restaurants.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
It's just like they just have the ingredients and they make the
Yeah.
stuff in another restaurant.
So it's like
Like,
any
it's-
restaurant, like a Chinese restaurant can have Mr. Beast Burger in it.
Like the ones in Iowa, they're in the Perkins.
No way.
Yes.
The one in Ames?
No, in Des Moines. There's
Also,
Ha-
the one in Ames, though, too.
Crazy.
I actually think I have a business meeting. I think we have a business meeting at Perkins today on the west side. I might have to get a Mr. Beast burger.
It's like
You
it's
can't
only on
order
one
it in
day.
the store. You have
Yeah.
to order it from DoorDash.
Why?
They have a deal with DoorDash.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude, it's crazy. He's just a master marketer.
what's your? I know you said that, like that's how you want your income to be, but like, what's your vision for all this? Like, what position is that going to put you in with the audience that you've gained up until this point?
I mean, eventually I'm gonna do real estate like you. I'm gonna own a bunch of.
Really?
Oh, I want to be you, basically. Yeah. But, like,
Bruh! Let's go!
That's amazing.
Shout out to my boy, Chris Knox. Keep him on the high, you know?
eventually, but having the platform right now is where like all my money comes, or most of it comes from, and then eventually I'll rotate that into real estate.
Okay, so have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad yourself?
Yeah.
And what was your biggest takeaway with that?
I think it was less specific about like what he said, more just like the overall mindset of investing and not like spending and saving.
Yeah.
Like I don't like I try to spend my money as little as possible. Like these jeans, this whole fit was free, not the shoes, but all that was like free from companies. So like I try not to spend my money on stuff.
I love that.
So like overall, I think Rich Dad Poor Dad just taught like the mindset that you should be.
Yeah, I didn't teach. I think that's super important for people like watching or know that it doesn't teach you how to invest. It teaches you why investing is so important. Like the mindset that comes with that. Do you like to read?
I wish I could say I do, but I don't.
You don't.
No.
But you understand that's like an important part.
Oh,
how to
100,
get
yeah,
those.
everyone says it's.
Crushing It in Commercial and Apartment Real Estate by Brian Murray is the other side of like it's super dry. No shot, no shots at Brian Murray, but so much information and like the equations and like how to actually build a successful portfolio when you're not working. This guy was a teacher, and his first investment was like $1 million multifamily property, and like his story was just so inspiring. When I read that book, I think I had like 4 or 5 rental properties, and after I bought that, I sold all of those and bought 15 units, just literally liquidated those 4, and my first 3 properties were all in Ames. That's my first flip right there, and that's on Maxwell, Ames, Iowa, right near North Grand Mall.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a really cool picture.
Yeah, that's a gift from my partner in Kansas City, Ashley. She bought that for me for Christmas or whatever.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Damn.
She hit me up and she was like, "Hey, what was the address of your first flip? I'm doing this like study or some shit or survey," and I didn't even know. I was just sending it back and I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure, whatever." And then I got that. But first rental property was at 23, duplex at 24, first flip at 25. So my first 3 years in real estate, I only did 1 property every year, and then it was shortly into being 25. I started focusing on apartment buildings, and then it was like smaller ones, a 7-unit, 12-unit, 9-unit, blah, blah, blah. And I think the 9-unit was where we're going to go shoot content at today. And then about 6 months ago, I bought a 57-unit apartment building, and that like changed everything. And so that was a huge blessing. But dude, if you want to get into that later, I'll just dump a whole bunch of information on you how to do that.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, that's where I want to be eventually. Yeah, definitely.
Do you have credit? Have you been working on your credit?
Yeah, I have like a 685 right now. I think.
That's not bad, dude.
I had a 699, and then I'm an idiot, so I have a 685 now. But yeah.
Yeah. What was the mistake that bumped you down? You charged too much on your credit card?
No, I didn't put any money into my checking account. Like I had a bunch in my savings, and I just wasn't paying attention. And then it like it was the 17th, which is when I pay, and then it was like you have nothing in your checking, so I couldn't pay my bill, and then I missed it, and then like I realized the day later and paid it immediately. I just had nothing in my checking account because it was all in savings. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
So learned a lesson.
What about the money management part has been the most difficult?
I really don't know how taxes work. Like I do. I have I have a basic idea. Like I've taken a class and everything. I could do them, but like with business expenses and all that, what I can write off, what I can't. I mean, I track everything. Like when my camera, travel, when I pay people for videos, like actors and stuff, all my expenses. But still, like I don't know. I didn't really start making a crazy amount of money until like last year. So,
do you have an LLC for your social media pages?
No, I've been told to start one, but other people have told me that it wouldn't really save me any time or money. So I have no idea.
Yeah. It probably wouldn't save you a lot of time or money, but the longer you have open an LLC, the easier it will be to get financing or a line of credit or really approved for anything using that LLC in the future. Really? So like even some of my YoungPro LLC. So I've got 4 or 5 different real estate LLCs, but YoungPro is the only one I own by myself. And then I own a construction company, and I own that 50-50. And when we started that, even though I had 4 other LLCs and a few $1 million in real estate, as soon as I started that brand new construction company, they didn't give a shit. Like it was like, that's a brand new. Yeah. And it was we couldn't get approved for a line of credit until 12 months. And in our first year, we grossed like 160 or something like that in the construction. They didn't care. They really did not care. But that's why sometimes, have you ever heard the term shelf company, like a shelf LLC? Mm-hmm. It's because those have been open for X amount of time. So you purchase that, and then you're already good with the bank.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I wish I knew more about all that, but I actually have no idea.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to. It's such a different vocabulary, and it's so dry that like if you don't have like a deep desire to learn some of that stuff, it's hard to kind of get into it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I have friends with LLCs, and then like they've told me to start one, but then I've talked to other people, and they said like you don't need one right now. So I have no idea.
Are they bigger players? The people that tell you that you don't need them.
Yeah. Well, it's both. I've had family members say I don't need one, but then one of my friends who has a similar following me, he's got one for his social media, but he's got a bunch of pages, so it depends. I have no idea.
What are your thoughts on having multiple different pages?
Well, I think you should have everything on all platforms. So I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Pinterest, Facebook. TikTok, everything.
Jeez, Pinterest too.
Not even. Well, they had a creator fund and it was like really good, but they took it away. I think it wasn't sustainable. And then another thing is you can get like a really large female audience, and certain companies are looking for that to target. So for brand deals that way, but I didn't. I stopped because the creator fund went away, so it wasn't really worth it.
Why do they focus on having a female audience?
It's just certain products you want to target that audience.
Oh.
So like right now, I used to have 75% male on TikTok. Now I have 46% male. And then like 83% US following. So a lot of people, they look for all those demographics. So it's important to know.
And what do you think is the most important analytic or measurement?
In terms of how a video will perform?
Yeah, or video or approaching a brand.
It depends what they're looking for. You know, some of the companies I talk to, they're just looking for like college age people. So TikTok will show you the breakdown, right? 18 to 24,
yeah,
24 to 35, something like that, all those categories. It really just depends what they're looking for. And you try to spin it and sell yourself to appeal to them that way. So, you know, if they're looking for college students, I'm like, perfect. I do videos on a college campus a lot of the time and I have this big following. But if they said, oh, we're looking to target like older people, I can say, okay, well, I do like finance related videos. That's old people like that. Or like my Facebook has an older audience. So stuff like that. You just have to be able to sell yourself in a different way.
Do you post on Facebook as well?
I'd post on Instagram and then it automatically repost to Facebook.
Yeah.
Huh.
And where have you found like, because they're saying Facebook is starting to have its own little comeback because they have Reels or whatever their version of Reels is. Are you posting those on there as well?
Yeah, I post my Reels to Facebook. I've been talking to a lot of other people. They're saying that like the views are slowing down because I think a lot of people have moved to Facebook now, so there's a lot more content out there. But still, you want to get on as many platforms as possible. I only have like 4K followers, but I think I made $750 in January off their like Reels program. And then
Really?
you just like post and get views. The cap was 1,200, but I have a friend with 600K on Facebook. I think like that's his biggest platform. Just consistent viral videos. So
That's crazy.
oh, Facebook's some people go hard with Facebook.
So are you on the TikTok creator fund? Because I heard like a lot of people join it and their views just get split in half.
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't want to risk it. My views are great.
Same.
And for the amount of money like they to pay, even with my views, it's like nothing crazy compared. It's not like comparable to YouTube or something else. So I haven't risked it.
Okay.
Oh, so you're not on the TikTok creator
No.
fund?
So people ask me during interviews like, how much will you make off this one video? And it's like nothing. Well, if it does well on YouTube, it will make me some money. But
Yeah, but TikTok itself, it won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no.
Do you look at TikTok as more of like I feel like TikTok's like the follower generation app. Like it kind of spreads your followers everywhere because it puts you in front of everyone.
Yeah, it's
Mainly.
people have debated. You know, is TikTok just a feature? Like for example, stories. That's on Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok now. That's a feature, right?
Yeah.
And then short form video content. Every platform's been able to recreate that.
Yeah.
So like, I definitely view it as like the way to get the fastest growth for social media.
Yeah.
But you can build a way better relationship with your audience on like long form YouTube or even just Instagram doing stories and stuff like that. Going live on like Instagram, people really engage better on that platform. So sure, you can get a ton of followers, but they're going to be less invested in you than they would be on like than others. They're less invested in you than other people are on other platforms.
How are you converting? Because I mean, your conversion from the amount of followers, because you said you started on TikTok.
Yep.
So the fact that you got 155,000, that's like 1/6, around 1/5 of your following from TikTok. You've been able to convert to YouTube. How did you do that?
Just YouTube Shorts. I'm
Are they same
just repost,
video?
yeah.
Repost.
I have a YouTube manager. He from Louisiana. He hit me up and he really started me at the beginning, and then he's just kept me growing. He just does his thing. I don't really pay attention to it, and I get about 30 million views a month. I had I think 70 in December on YouTube.
Jeez.
On YouTube, so I get about like 1K followers a day.
And how
or
many
subscribers.
long form videos are you posting on YouTube a month?
I've literally posted one.
One a month.
I have like we're gonna do one today. I've recorded like 3 in the last week.
Is
I
that
have a
with
bunch ready.
the Jennings girl?
She'll be in like my real estate one.
Is that the one you're shooting today?
No, you.
Oh,
you,
me.
you
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
okay.
you.
Ah.
Yeah. No, so
Check me out on his
I
page.
I did one, and then I have one where I interviewed some people who own a sneaker store in Des Moines. I toured a frat house, and I'm gonna talk about like how much that cost.
You toured a frat house.
Yeah, it was cool. They gave me a tour, like they were recruiting me as a freshman, and then on YouTube, and then I also like I figured out how many members they have and how much all the members pay. So I'm basically going to do a breakdown of how much the house makes. It's 1.34 million on Zillow right now, and it's a 0.81 like acre lot, and it's I think 17,000 square feet. So I'm gonna do like a breakdown of how much the property's worth and all that.
That's a great idea. How did you come up with that idea?
I just try to keep everything related to finance, and I was like, I need content. Let's go do a frat house, you know. So.
And they were willing to give you that information?
It was on Zillow.
No, the membership fees.
Oh well, yeah, because I don't think they don't know I was gonna do all the breakdown of how much they make.
Yeah.
So but they'll tell it when they're trying to recruit you. You know, you can ask what are the dues for the house, and then how many members do you have? You can figure it out anyway. So
Yeah.
I never told them I'm gonna do the whole breakdown. They'll find out.
They'll find out when you do it.
That's amazing.
Dude, that's awesome. So then do you know how to analyze like what the ROI or what?
I don't know.
Bro,
I know zilch
we'll
about
do
real
that.
estate.
We'll do that together, dude.
No, I just know how much it's worth, and then like how like the revenue of the frat itself. I mean, living in a frat is like the same price for like the food and the room and board. It's the same price if you were to live like in a dorm or somewhere else. It's not like yeah, it might even be cheaper. Like
Because they have it all in house, right?
yeah, because they have a chef, so then it's just like, and then the house itself, living there, it can almost be cheaper. So it's actually like living in a frat's actually a good idea if you're trying to save money, depending on which house you choose. But yeah, I just figured it all out and asked them. It sounds so well.
Dude, that's a cool idea. I think I interrupted you while you were telling your story because that like was fascinating. What were you? Do you remember what you were saying?
Oh yeah, I've only posted one long form video, and then I have like my goal is now to do one a week. So I have a bunch like in the process, but it's a big transition because I know how to do short form content really well. I think I could even work in like another niche and probably do a good job. But long form, whole different thing. It's like way more storytelling. So I have to think about, okay, you have an intro, you have to do transitions between places, you have to tell the entire story, outro. It's a whole thing. And like TikTok, I'm used to it being 15 to 40 seconds long. Keep a viewer engaged, you're done. It's so quick. YouTube, you have a little bit more time to chill out and like you still have to keep people engaged and be interesting. But I have no idea what I'm doing on YouTube. My first video only got 500 views, but I expected it to. And then I'm hoping it'll snowball once people realize I'm putting out good content. But I don't know what I'm doing on YouTube at all.
So a lot of that growth is actually from your YouTube manager.
It's all from him doing shorts.
And how much? I don't know if you're allowed to say, but how much do you pay him to do that?
It's $500 a month, and then I give him 10% of the shorts revenue, which when he originally pitched me, he didn't tell me about what was happening.
What?
Well, so we talked, and then he's like, yeah, it's $500 a month. And then all of a sudden when it came time to the contract, he was like, oh, I forgot to tell you. Also, I want 10% of your revenue from shorts.
Does that seem worth it?
Was that before or after the new fund was announced?
That was before.
Okay.
I think, or maybe it was back in like October, and he also wanted 10% of my YouTube brand deals. I said no to that, but I didn't know I'd be making like good money from YouTube. I get on average like $2,000 a month, I think, from their shorts revenue. So like 10% for him to run everything and me not having to worry about it, it's fine. It is what it is.
That is, yeah, that's definitely like,
Yeah.
jeez, dude. And you don't have to do anything. And YouTube, from my understanding, is the best platform. Like you said, it pays more than the rest of them, right?
Their fund does, yeah, it does
Yeah.
really well. They just started yesterday, the new thing. So I don't actually know how much that'll pay. But yeah, it's nice because I just put my folders in a drive, I share it with him, and he does it. He's really good with like using their tags to target people. I don't know how he does it. I don't worry about it. So it's expensive for him, but the ROI is good.
What do you mean it's expensive? Like with time, it's expensive in time?
Or it's expensive kind of to pay him.
Oh,
for,
yeah.
500 a month, like it's a lot for a lot of people. But
Yeah.
now that the money's coming back, the one thing I learned in that I was using a platform called Repurpose, and what you would do is you'd post a video to TikTok, and it would automatically publish to all your other pages for you. Turns out, kind of a scam, and the reason is because platforms know when you're using a third party. So as soon as I turned off Repurpose and started doing it manually, my views went way up. So
Really?
don't use a third party because it won't help you. Because
Yeah.
I was posting on Instagram with Repurpose and I'd get like 100 views a video. all of a sudden I stopped doing that. I posted myself and I started getting like 20K views a video.
Jeez.
So that also for social media, like you have to post it.
And are you
manually.
removing the TikTok? Because that's what I heard was also bad for the IG algorithm, was you had to remove the TikTok watermark or whatever. But then you lose quality when you remove it.
So there's I run everything through Google Drive, so I'll just download the video and post it to Instagram directly, so there's no watermark. But there's a website called Snaptic, and you basically paste the TikTok link in there and download it, and it somehow automatically removes it.
Yeah.
And it keeps most of the quality.
Yeah, I think I've Googled and you used that before.
Yeah, that's one of the little hacks to
Insane.
So, what about the audio? How are you dropping in like a TikTok viral audio or an Instagram audio that you want to use into your editing software?
I don't do any audios. You can do it.
Oh, because you're doing interviews.
Yeah, I don't use any. Okay. For a couple of my videos, when I buy things for people at the mall, those ones I've used like this one sound that just keeps it. I don't know, it goes well with it. I don't know why. It's just like I'm like, yeah, this will work, and it kind of did. So, but for most of my interviews, I don't do any audio.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But also, all the TikTok audios exist in an audio library that you can just download.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Me neither.
This is crazy what, like, all the thing, like, I've been doing this for, I don't know, I think my first one was March of 2021. Like, I promised myself, I'm going to put out a TikTok every single day, no matter what, for a month. And I was at 52 followers when I started, and by the end of the month, I was at, like, 3,000. And then, and then from that month to, I think, 4 months in, it was super dry. Like, I think I only got to like 7 or 8. And then I had that one video, and I posted it at night, similar to your Xbox story, which is what you're not supposed to do or whatever. And I woke up and it like shot me up like 60,000 followers overnight. Yeah. Have you watched, which was crazy because when I went to your TikTok page, you were already following me. How many of my videos, or which video did you come across of mine before we even connected?
I have no idea. I don't even know why. I couldn't tell you the specific reason I followed you. I just liked your videos. I wanted to learn more. And I think I might have seen that you're from Iowa. So I have no idea what video though.
It was. Do you have any not to put you on the spot, but do you have any critiquing for me of some of my videos that might help me do better?
I'd have to look at your page. I don't know. I can tell you after. I can definitely tell you. But, Do you do any brand deals yourself?
No, I've only done. This like not even sponsorships. Like, I've had other real estate investors hit me up to go and help them with like creative content ideas, or like
you could charge so much,
dude. It's because their pockets are so deep. Like, I got flown to Hawaii, and I literally just sat on a beach, talked real estate, and like helped him make pretty decent content that didn't look so. And that the issue with a lot of the real estate stuff now is it's all the same. You know, it's this mic, it's like the words underneath the bottom. There's not, and my content has always been like very organic and not highly edited. You know, I'm in my projects, I'm swinging my hammer, or like sometimes I may not say something like grammatically correct or whatever, but it just shows, I think, like more of a more authentic side. And I try to be very open, like that I'm not. Like the demo side, it looks great on TikTok, but like I'm not the one finishing the tile and doing perfect installation of my countertops. Like, I got a guy, my team for that, and I think that's been nice with being transparent. But the biggest paydays have not been from TikToks or brands. It's been from other investors flying me to them to sit them down and talk to them like that. So I'd be curious to see, dude, like I would love to do some stuff with you. You take your cut, and I just love being in that environment with those people because I'm getting paid. They're at such a different level than I, like my portfolio I think is at 5.2 million now, but like those guys that I'm talking with, they're doing deals that cost 5 million, like, and that's my whole portfolio in one deal. And that's why I love doing this. It's connected me to bigger investors. It's connecting me to people that have capital and aren't investors, so they want to invest with me. And then it's showing other small investors the volume of deals I'm doing, so they're bringing me their deals when they're not doing them. It's freaking amazing. Dude, I don't have my glasses on. What time are we at?
We're at an hour.
Okay, cool. So we got a bit longer, but yeah. Is there anything that is like on the top of your head for real estate that I can help drop real quick or answer a question?
How can you afford so many properties at once?
So creative financing. I quit my job like 3 years ago to do real estate full time. And when you have a W-2, banks like you. You know what I mean? I don't have a W-2 anymore, so banks don't like me. But that strategy that I talked about, it's called seller financing. And so 99% of real estate transactions, you go to a bank, they give you a loan. That loan pays off the seller's bank, right? Then they get their profit, their margin, they're on their way. Well, seller financing, for example, is when a seller has owned, this is pretty much either people that have been in their house for 15 or 20 years or investors themselves. Mm-hmm. They own the property free and clear. So they take possession of the bank. And if they're already a real estate investor, you know they care about passive income. That's why they got into the game. So you give them a down payment just like you would a bank. And then they theoretically lend you $200,000 house, you put $10K down, they're lending you $190,000 on a note. Yeah. Now you pick 3%, 4%, 5%, 6% interest, and that's their passive income, bro. So they literally get out of the responsibility of being a landlord and having to deal with the tenants. I assume all responsibility for the expenses, the property taxes, dealing with the tenant, whatever that is, and they're getting their monthly check for passive income. And here's the kicker. They don't want that chunk of cash because it's going to increase their income bracket or they're going to get hit with capital gains. So that lets them spread out and pick what year. Okay, in 3 years, that balloon payment will end and you'll need to go to a bank and refinance or get approved by a bank. And that's when I want the money because they're going to then use those next 3 years to prepare to not make as much income that year, knowing that money is going to come in. So that we get to mold. I don't have to go to a bank. I could have zero credit and do the type of deals I'm talking about. You get to negotiate your down payment, negotiate your terms, negotiate your interest rate. So it just gives people like you, dude, me, whatever it is, you can be 18 years old and go and purchase a real estate deal with $5,000, $10,000 right now. Literally, when I met with Jake and Jace, they asked me how I find my deals. And I told them that I don't focus on Zillow anymore. I focus on a relationship with a real estate investor who already has a portfolio. And the weirdest thing is like wealthy guys, they love hungry young dudes because they like see themselves in us. So when you go to them and you're like, I want to hear your story, instead of I want to buy your property. That's a completely different. They're getting those calls all the time from agents, other investors. So you're like, no. And sometimes buying somebody dinner when they're that level isn't the value that they need. But like if they have kids or a family, like they might not always be interested in their story. So if you're just like, I'll come over to one of your properties, I'll paint for you. I'll make a video on a vacant property that you have and I'll post it on my page and you can post it on yours to try and fill that. That's some value that they don't normally hear. And you're just like, and I just want to hear your story, like how you got to this. And they just open up. We met with Jake and Jace and they asked me and I told them that. And they were just kind of like, no. The very next day, one of the first guy I ever bought in a property, an apartment building from, calls me and he's like, hey, I want you to come over. And I thought he was going to want to lend me. I just made him like $100,000. I thought he was going to want to lend me that money. We come over. He has a fucking paper of 7 addresses. 5 of them he owns free and clear. One of them's a duplex. And he's like, no, I'm ready to liquidate. I want out of all these. They're all in the Des Moines metro. 7 different properties. He was like, you can take them one at a time. You can buy the whole portfolio. No bank needed because he owns them free and clear. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like jaw dropped. And I was like, we literally told them like, this is the strategy you take. And the very next day he's sitting there and I look over and I'm like, dude, is this really happening right now? And that's one of the deals that I'm chasing right now. So that's a big. Honestly, dude, if you're that serious about it, like I'll give you one of you can negotiate with us and you can be part of the process. It's a deal structure is one of the funnest things with real estate. Because you can be so creative. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I focus on creative financing and not using a bank because banks suck.
That's awesome. So how do you actually pay for everything? Where does the money come from? Just other properties?
So I flip houses, but my real because you have my 80 rental properties or whatever is buy and hold, just like with stocks. Like that is the key to wealth is buy and hold. But I flip properties, and every time I make a chunk of money afterwards, I'll take a little bit for living costs and to like living stuff, and then I'll take the rest of that, and then I'll go buy another rental property.
Okay. Are you ever worried that you're gonna have a bunch of tenants like want to leave and then you're kind of screwed? Or?
Yeah, and dude, great question. When we bought that 57 plex, we bought it and there was 6 vacancies. And a lot of times when there's a transition with a property of that size, the tenants get scared, especially if you start making the property nicer, because they think that you're going to just up the rents a bunch and then they're not going to be afforded. So they try to get ahead of the curve and move out. So we went from 6 vacancies to 13 vacancies within the first month, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible. But whatever, we were like, okay, we're going to stick to the same strategy we've always used. Redid the units, but we only raised the rents by like $65. So then when like people realized that, we went from 6 vacancies to 13 vacancies, and now we're only at 3. And one of them is a show unit, so that it's like it's just all set up. No one is going to live in there, and then the other 2 we need to be remodeled. But I'm in the middle of a flip right now, and so we're not touching those until the flip's done.
Do you ever wholesale?
Sometimes. How
does that work?
That is like the deal that I did with that guy that drove over in 3 days. Like, but most of the time when people talk about wholesale, they're doing it before the contract closes. With that deal, the contract had already closed and I'd owned it for 3 days. But the issue that I don't like about wholesaling is it doesn't actually build wealth. It just builds a chunk of change in your pocket. And if there's enough margin in the deal to be a good deal, which is why it's being wholesaled, then why wouldn't I just keep that margin myself and do the deal myself rather than making a quick $5,000 to $10,000? At this point in the game, I don't care about $5,000 or $10,000. Like, I want the real, the wealth and the solid deal, and so wholesaling doesn't allow for that.
Interesting. Okay, because I have one friend. His name's Ethan too. He's on TikTok. He wholesales and he doesn't post anymore, but he used to do videos of him like on the phone, like him negotiating.
Closing, Yeah, but so those are great learning curves again. But like my strategy isn't, a lot of those they're calling residential. And what people forget is like when you're calling somebody that's not an investor about the home that they live in, that's probably top 3 of their top 3 biggest accomplishments: their family, their college degree, and the house that they purchased. And you're trying to take 33% of their largest accomplishment. Mm-hmm. And so I stopped focusing on residential because you just so much more calls, you piss people off, and I don't want to be someone that takes away from like their accomplishments. So I just started focusing on investors. One, because if I make a relationship with them, they got 10 other properties. So if I land it, like I ain't got to make 10 other calls where I would get 10 other properties from 10 people. That's 100 calls to get one close per 10 calls or whatever. Now I made this relationship with him, and just like Marty happened, he's ready to liquidate. Boom. I got my next half a year of deals lined up from one guy. Mm-hmm. So it just didn't make sense to talk to residential people anymore.
That's super interesting because I know nothing about real estate, so it's really cool to hear.
Yeah. Dude, well, real quick, last thing, what is your goal for for 2023? Because I'd love to have you back on in a year and see if you were able to live up to those goals and dissect that.
1 million on TikTok, 1 million on YouTube. I'm gonna hit the TikTok, no problem. 1 million on YouTube, and like I want to average at least 50K views a video for long form and get really good at that.
50K for long, and what is that, over a minute, or is that 20 minutes? Is that
for long form?
Yeah,
like 10 to 20.
10 to 20.
At least 8. I think that's the limit for monetizing. And I want to get at least 50K views a video consistently and like be good at long form. And then grow that to 1 million. And then 1 million on TikTok. But I'll hit that, no problem.
Okay, so that's business. Let's hear something personal. What's a personal goal of yours?
Squat 315.
My boy, how much do you weigh?
185.
185.
I really can't squat that much for how long I've been lifting. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just because I'm tall. Yeah, I can. He's putting up like huge numbers, but I mean, I can like rep the max leg extension, no problem. But
yeah,
my squat's just terrible, so I want to get that up.
Dude, you're what, 6'3", 6'4"?
6'2".
Yeah,
almost 6'3". Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I was about to say, bro, it's a little bit easier for you too. I'm 6'1", bro. That squat is hard, bro.
Yeah.
So that's
probably it.
Okay, dude. Well, hey, I really appreciate your time today, man. It's been super
Thank you.
fun.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, guys. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you later.